Hi guys, it's Jared with Day Traders FX. Just a quick look at the markets this week. We have a lot of things coming up. Two things to keep in mind that are super important. It's going to be pretty tough to trade the UK elections that are on Thursday. We're going to have those preliminary election results and expect a lot of volatility for pound pairs. So I'm kind of steering a little bit clear of pound pairs this week. We do have some good setups that we've talked about in the trade group and some pretty nice little kind of shorter term movements that we're looking for. But overall, just be really careful with pound pairs this week. But we do also have some pretty big news on euro pairs, and I want to talk about euro pairs just a little bit. We've got the interest rate and European Central Bank press conference on Thursday, and that should be exciting. So have a look at a couple of euro pairs. First off, I'm kind of interested in this euro dollar. I'll kind of use the euro dollar as the gauge, and then I'll mention a couple other pairs for just a moment. But euro dollar is kind of this interesting gauge, right? We have the election high that takes us back to about November 9th. You can see right there, and that's around 113.05, 11300, give or take, right in that general area. And we saw a high right here on the euro dollar. We got up to just about 112.80, just peaked above 112.80 by just a pip or two or three. So we missed that election high by a little chunk. We're also kind of looking for this kind of head and shoulders completion here to happen. That kind of movement and then that kind of movement, which takes us kind of up into that general vicinity there. And so we're trying to kind of watch that channel and that duplication of that channel. It looks like 11300 is still in range very much. So watch for one push higher on this euro dollar, and then potentially we start to see this thing coming back down just a bit. You can see that currently on this short-term setup, we have about 130 pips if we get a breakout and a move into that monthly pivot. We've also got multiple daily pivots back here. Not to mention, if we go back just a little bit, this feed is not showing it correctly, but this right here is the French election gap. So this is actually a gap. All the euro charts have gaps on about the 23rd of April. So that's kind of a big chunk that needs to be taken out. So we've got two monthly pivots currently on the euro dollar. We've got multiple daily pivots. We've got some weekly pivots in here that need to get hit. We just have a lot of lower stuff that needs to get kind of retested and taken care of. If we look at the larger chart as well, you can see that this larger trend line that has the market's reacted very nicely to, could make a nice, this could make a nice resistance point, and we could see some retests of that trend line and of that little area right there. So we're going to be looking at this euro dollar, especially as we go into news and so on. But as we get back into that monthly pivot and then retesting that larger trend line, there's definitely some profits to be had moving in that direction. So euro dollar looks pretty interesting as, one more push higher, and then we start to see this thing maybe head lower. And maybe this pushes higher going into the ECB press conference and the interest rate news on Thursday. Maybe it breaks before then, but I'm just kind of keeping an eye on looking for opportunities to sell, to short this pair at higher prices. So euro dollar looks interesting like that. Euro yen kind of has the same interesting levels that I'm watching for here. Same kind of setup, right? Where we've got this, we have, let's look at this 4-hour chart for just a moment. We have this kind of uptrend. We have a double top here. Looking to see if we get maybe a triple top, one more test of that 125, 60, 70, 80 area, and then have it come back down. Watching that, you can see that there's kind of a bit of a channel here as well with this trend line connecting these lows, and you can see this kind of movement, right? If we get some of that and some of that, and that channel kind of just keeps getting extended out, and we just end up seeing some chop and some trading in between that. So euro yen looks like there's some potential. Now, keep in mind, if we do see something like that happen and this trades down into this area, there's 150 to 200 pips of movement in between all of this stuff. So these are great areas to watch for. Euro Aussie has a pretty similar type setup here, right? We've got this kind of ascending channel that you can see on the 4-hour chart. We'll see if this breaks, which it might. We could see this run down into that monthly pivot there for about 120 to 130 pips. If it doesn't break, let's look for this kind of movement here. Run back up to the top of that channel, maybe do a little more chop, a little more consolidation. We have some decent Aussie news this week as well as Euro news. And then maybe it does something like that. But remember, we have all these kind of just slightly continuing higher channels, and euro pairs are looking super interesting, and I think we could get some nice opportunities to short these, sell these at higher prices as either news pushes them higher or as, whatever the case may be. Let's look for those opportunities to start targeting some of these missed pivots down below. Same thing on Euro Aussie, 2 monthly pivots currently missed. And same thing here. This is that April 23rd candle that is actually a gap, and it shows that it's a candle right here on this feed. But that's actually a gap. So all of these euro pairs on April 23rd have fairly large gaps. In this case here, our gap is like 142 to one. It's like 80 pips. That's a large gap. That's definitely a large gap to be had. So let's watch that news this week. Let's see how things play out. We have lots of setups. As you can see, there's really no shortage of things that we're looking for on these euro pairs. We're looking for head and shoulders patterns. We're looking for all kinds of things. But we do need to see a little bit of confirmation, and we do need to kind of keep in mind that news and how that news is going to move the market and what kind of movement that's going to cause there. So we're pretty much watching all the euro pairs pretty closely. Euro dollar is high on the list. Euro Aussie's on the list. Euro New Zealand's on the list. Euro yen, Euro pound, Euro CAD. I mean, these are all pairs that we're watching, and we've got some great setups here. So we're going to keep an eye on this. We're going to be looking for these kinds of movements. We're going to be looking for these kinds of trades to play out this week with, again, the ECB interest rate and the press conference that are happening on Thursday, and hopefully we'll have some opportunities to get in before that. If you would like to see how we trade all this live and how we're gonna adjust our movements and make some money hopefully on these setups, head over to daytradersfx.com, click on join, and give us a shout. See what you think. We have a little 2-minute video that kind of explains what we promise to you as being members of our trade group, and we'll have live sessions for all these news announcements, and it's going to be pretty exciting. You can get a 14-day free trial. Just click right there, and that'll give you 14 days free. 14 days. That's 2 weeks to try us out. No obligation to do anything other than just attend, give it a shot, and hopefully learn something and get to know a couple of new traders and some new techniques. So we'd love to have you. Head on over to the website. And any questions, comments, you can leave them right below this video or reply to the email or anything. We'd love to hear from you. Thanks, everybody. Good luck, and we'll see you soon.